I'm realizing that I didn't have to crochet at that gauge. I could go up, like I usually go up 2 or 3 hook sizes because I end up with a fabric that I like so much better. And it's like, it was like mind blown. Hello, my name is Michelle and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is Monday, May 12th, and it is episode 49 of the podcast. It is about 70 degrees, actually it's 72 according to my watch. It was nice and sunny earlier, but it's kind of cloudy. It's kind of clouded up. We had torrential downpours over the weekend and a lot of rain last week, so at least it's dry for the moment, but you know, that's spring in Maine. I am recording, again, it's on Monday. Last week I recorded on Wednesday, so it hasn't been quite a full week, but I have the time today and I thought it would be good to get the podcast recorded. So I might not have quite as much to share, but I do have updates on all of my projects and where that is at. So, and I decided I kind of liked my corner here. So I'm back in my rocking chair in the corner of the living room. It's just easier and quicker for setup. So, you know, new year of the podcast, new recording location. I might do this for a little while. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. So I think it's 4 projects I'm going to talk about today in my project bag. Let's talk about one I haven't touched for a couple of weeks. I actually did a decent amount of knitting and it was all done yesterday. And it is my knitted down sweater. So it's actually starting to look a little bit like something now. I had joined it here, so I'm going to hold it upside down because it's a little easier to hold the needle. So I had joined it just before the start of the last time I had shown this off, and I got all of this done, and that was done last night. We were video chatting with my daughter, and I had this, and I was going along on this. So it has not been a priority project. I am really focusing on my shawl that I'll pull out probably next. But here is the yarn that I am using. It's kind of that skein here is starting to get used up. It is from Wonderland Yarns. It is their Marianne base, which is a superwash merino nylon, 8515. And the colorway is named after the storm. It was a limited edition colorway last fall, and I have 3 skeins of this. I'm really hoping that this will work. I think it will. I have this much left, and I'm confident that I will have enough to complete the yoke, which I have 10 more rounds to go. So I'm pretty sure I will have definitely. Okay, I think we're all set. My son got home. I didn't think he was gonna get home from work until 5, and he apparently got out at 4, so I thought I could squeeze this in. But anyway, I believe I was talking about the amount of yarn that I have, and I'm confident that I will have enough to complete the yoke. I have 10 more rounds, and then I split for the sleeves. I probably can get the 10 rounds, and then part of the body, but of course the body is gonna be on fewer stitches at that point. And so I'm hoping that a whole skein will do the body and then the 3rd skein will do the sleeves. I don't like long sleeves, so I'm thinking that that will work. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a certain amount of the body and then I'll start the sleeves and make sure that I have enough for the sleeves before I complete the body, and that way I can make the body as long as I want it. I don't know. We'll see. But at any rate, this is coming along. It is one that I will definitely be bringing with me next week when I head off to Michigan for the Odyssey of the Mind tournament. And it will be a great card knitting project, evening in the hotel room while I'm relaxing project. There'll be a couple of nights that'll be a little quieter. So that is this project. Again, it is the Knitted Down. It is by Anna Trapp. All right, let's take a look at my secret ingredient shawl. I'm definitely making good progress on this one. This has been for sure has been my focus project. So right here, way down here is where I was. I had hoped by yesterday to get the last clue done on this side, and I am on the last clue. I have about maybe 6 rows left that is just done in the purple. And then I think it's another 6 or 8 rows. I think it might be another, like an eyelet row or something. I know I bring in the other colors and I do something for like 6 or 8 rows and then I bind off. I had hoped to have that done by yesterday in my original plan, but that's okay. I'm still pushing. I'm still hopeful that I will get this project done by next Monday. I leave Tuesday, so definitely I will have probably a little bit of knitting time on Monday, although when I get out of work, I will have packing to do because I will have to be ready to go on Tuesday. I'm gonna actually leave school half an hour early and then drive down an hour or so south of me so that we can be on the road at 3:30 and get going. So I won't have packing time. I will have to be ready to grab my bags and go. But at any rate, I am really liking, again, I've talked extensively about this one. This is really just a quick where I'm at update. I have talked so much about the yarn. I have talked about this one ad nauseum, but I wanted to show you where I was at. I'm really pleased with my progress. And like I think last week I talked about the fact that I had decided to just finish a side instead of completing clue 4 and then moving into clue 5. I decided when I finished clue 3 to just move into clue 4 and 5 on this, which is actually the second side, but I had the yarns attached for the second side of clue 3. So that's where I'm at. So I basically have the same amount of knitting-ish to do this week, and that will be my goal, is to get this project done. All right, next, let's talk about my Northeasterly. This is the Northeasterly Blanket by Katy Stevens. And I am still working on my April yarns. I didn't get as much done. My goal was to get 1 color a day done, and I think I only did like 3 colors in the week. But that's okay. Slow and steady, and this is definitely, as much as I am trying to focus on that, it's not a priority project. So when I ended last week, yeah, I actually only got 2 colors done. So you can see my markers here on this yellow, but I got this green and then this color done here. So that is the quick update on that one. I do have, did I wind? No, I did not wind the next color, but I do have them ready to go here. So my next color is gonna be this one here, like a kind of a peachy, pinky with like a yellow. I don't know how good the colors are showing up in this lighting, but, and then I'll have, so I got 3 colors left in my March colors. Plus the first color. Actually, I have that much left of the first color too, so it's almost like having 4 colors to go. So if I can get those colors done and maybe the first color started for my May colors before I leave next week, I will consider that a win. It's a little bit fiddly to start the colors. Once I get going, joining in a new color and continuing is easy, but that first going back and forth and starting the first chevron and then joining it in can be a little fiddly. So I kind of tend to put it off sometimes. So if I can get worked through those and get that one joined, that would be excellent. And then maybe when I get back, I can focus on, because I will be back on Memorial Day and I'll still have like 4 days in the month. So I probably won't finish my May colors in May, but I will be well positioned to be caught up by the end of June. So you know what? I'll take it. That's fine. All right, so that is that project. How about we talk about my socks, my Cupid's bow socks. I didn't get a lot done, but I got a little. I brought him to Bible study last week, and so so that's how much I have left before I start my heel. So I've got what, maybe 2.5 inches? Again, my fancy measuring system, I know I've talked about it. These are definitely going to be a project that I take with me next week when I go to Michigan. I plan to carry them around with me in my backpack so that I always have a little spare knitting to do when I have a moment if I want. Here is my yarn, and it is a Yarnables yarn. So this was my February colorway, Cupid's Bows. And again, there's the Yarnables label for that. So I do my socks. I actually haven't talked about my, this is just my standard vanilla sock, as it were. I do my socks over 56 stitches. I do them from the cuff down. And so there we go. And I like to work them on 2 circulars. So, and I do the OMG heel, 1 row mock gusset heel when I get to my heel. So that is these socks. I cast these on back in February, and then they took a really long hiatus while I worked on other things and focused on my husband's muscle bar hat. So stay tuned, see how much I get done on these. I believe I am only bringing 2 projects with me when I go to Michigan. This one and my sweater. So we'll see how much I get done on either of them. They're both very distinct time frames when I will be working on those projects. So we'll see. And I have a lot of car knitting time. It's going to be about a 13-hour drive, I think we decided. And I'm a passenger. And I am not, like, when my husband and I drive, and he does all the driving typically, but I still feel like sometimes I can't knit because I need to pay attention because I'm the navigator side of the equation. But I'm not even going to have that role. So I am literally just a passenger, be almost like taking a bus for 13 hours. So there's a lot of car ride in my future. All right. I think, oh no, that I lied. I am going to bring one more project, which I am going to talk about right now. I think those are the last of my projects. Yep. I have here my Bahama Advent Wrap, which is by Toni Lipsey. It is a Tunisian crochet project. And I know that I shared my beginnings of it last week, and I did decide to rip it out, and so I have redone it. That's what I have. I don't know how well that's actually showing up. Here's kind of the whole width of it. And I decided to rip it out and do it single strand, or one strand. I was holding it double initially, and it was just coming out too bulky, and I knew I wasn't gonna like it. I like it much, much better. So I worked on this quite a bit yesterday. We were at my brother's for Mother's Day, and we were playing some games, and I was working on this as I went. I am trying to figure out, because my next color I have, I'm using my Beauty and the Beast Advent, which I got this past Christmas from Fangirl Fibers. And so this is my second color that I want to add in. And what I would like to do is fade it in. So I'm thinking that I want to alternate like probably three rows. I can play with it a little bit. I should probably wind this up so I can start to play and get a sense of how many rows of back and forth that I want to do. And my mom was actually asking me, and she had a good point. I could play with this and not do like the whole row. I could do it like, I don't know, a couple of repeats across back and forth and get a sense of how it's going to be. So I got to figure out how many rows I'm going to do and alternate this like 3 rows and then move on to this next color. So I actually am going to bring this project too, because this will be a really good car project as an alternate, or even in the evening. So I'm having a lot of fun with the Tunisian crochet. I'm really, really enjoying this, and I can actually see myself doing Tunisian crochet in the future more. I was talking with my mom, and I am realizing that crochet for me in the past, up until about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, was not one of my favorites. Not so much because I didn't like doing it. I didn't like the product as much, but I am realizing that part of the reason I didn't like the product is because I always crocheted a very dense gauge, and so my crochet projects were always very stiff. They could almost stand up on their own. And I don't remember, I think it was in watching Nitty Natty's podcast and seeing her experiment with crocheting and realizing that I didn't have to crochet at that gauge. I could go up, like I usually go up 2 or 3 hook sizes because I end up with a fabric that I like so much better. And it's like, it was like mind blown. So ever since then, I have a much greater appreciation for crochet. I also think that crochet itself has come a long way, and there are designers who are paying more attention to crochet, combining stitches in very unique and different ways that give a different fabric other than like your traditional granny square or even just your single and double crochet. Like, there's a lot of great options with crochet now, so it's starting to grow on me and really start to appeal. So you might see a little bit more of that coming down the pike in the future. But those are my projects for this week. I worked on a lot of different things. So I do have a new addition to my yarn shelf, and it's not yarn, but I got in my Tunisian crochet, interchangeable Tunisian crochet set. So when I decided that I wanted to hold my hooks, to not hold my yarn double for the Bahama Advent wrap, I knew I'd have to go down a size, and I knew that I wasn't able to get that locally. And I decided, because I didn't know exactly what hook size I would need, I decided that rather than just buy one hook, I would go ahead and get a interchangeable set. I found one on Amazon that wasn't overly expensive. I think it was $40 for 12 different hooks. It had like 5 or 6 different cords and the pieces that you need. So it felt like a reasonable deal and a low stakes entry into doing the Tunisian crochet. And I was enjoying it enough that I could see myself doing it again in the future. So my set came, I don't remember the brand, but I will include a link to it in the show notes below. So these are all the hooks that came in the bag. I have 12 different hook sizes. They go from 3mm, which I think is about a C, all the way up to 10mm, which I am not even sure what that is. So pretty big and thick. They are labeled, so that's the nice thing about them. And they have the nice labeling, so it's real easy to see what size it is. I kind of wish that they had the letters on them. They are just labeled in millimeters, and I really am much more accustomed to thinking of crochet in like A, B, C, D hook sizes, but that's okay. I can make that adjustment. It's not that big of a deal. Then the other thing that I got with it, I have this pouch here, and again, I think there was like 5 or 6 different cords in here of all various lengths, because of course, where's my bag? I'll pull out. So here's the hook that I am using. So you've got your hook, and then you've got your cord, and then there's a little stopper on the end, which is going to keep the stitches from falling off. So I have those cords, and I have this little pouch here that has, I think it's 4 stoppers. There are like a cable key, and I think it's a little disc that I can use to tighten. And there's actually extenders. There's 2 extenders in there too. So if I really wanted to like do an Afghan or something and I wanted a really long cord beyond what comes in the kit, I could easily make that. And it actually came with a little foldable pair of scissors too. So not a bad deal all in all. And it came in this nice little handy pouch, which is convenient and keeps them all together. So I like the cords. The cords are a really, really nice weight. The hooks are a little, they're not, I don't know what they are. They're not, I don't think they're stainless steel. They almost have like a plasticky stainless steel feel. I don't even know if that makes sense. Like, they're not plastic, but they don't feel, they feel almost like plastic, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the material is exactly, but for what I'm using and doing, I think they're gonna work out just fine. And again, the price was decent, low barrier and low stakes for me to give Tunisian crochet a try. So I am pretty pleased overall. Finally, my day today is gonna be pretty short and sweet. Again, it's only been 5 days and it was a pretty quiet and calm 5 days for the most part. Let's see, Thursday, I don't think anything super exciting happened. Friday, I had a card class that I held at my home, so that was good. Got that in. Saturday was, oh my gosh, it was so rainy, so rainy. We, like, the heavens opened and my husband and I were out, happened to be out, and we had an appointment in the morning and then went to do a couple of errands and I wanted to go to Home Depot and get plants for our mothers and do our groceries. And so we got to the Home Depot, like, it was in the middle of the biggest part of the downpour. Just walking from the car to the garden center, which of course we're choosing the flowers out in the outside. We were already wet before we even got to the garden center, and then we selected our plants, and I don't think I've ever chosen a plant so fast in my life. They're pretty, like, they're good, but there was no debate. It's like, yep, that'll work, let's go. We took it in, and the plants themselves, they were like just like gushing because they were so wet, and got them into our car, and then the trunk was all wet. Fortunately, we have like a rubber mat, so, and we have a Subaru too, so it's a hatchback. It's not like an enclosed trunk, so it dried off. But for that moment in time, it was all wet, and after we got our groceries, we put our groceries in the back, and then we get home, and I'm like, oh, that was an error in judgment. But we were trying to get things into the car just as fast as we could because we were getting so wet. But by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, the rain slowed down. We were able to head out. We visited with my mother-in-law and gave her plant and kind of did our Mother's Day visit. And then on Sunday was Mother's Day, and of course, we went to church in the morning and then came home, and I had my lunch and took a little nap and spent some time with my yarn. And then we went over to my brother's house and barbecued and spent some time with my mom, and both my brothers were there and my boys. And then when we got home, I did a video chat with my daughter. So it was a lovely, lovely Mother's Day. And that just brings me to today, Monday. We did another one of our elementary school visits. I'm down to one visit left. So again, those are so much fun. They always have great questions. I think we're excited. I think we're gonna have a really great group of kids that are coming in, and it's fun to kind of help to set them up for success at the middle school next year. So that's pretty much where we're at. I have a quiet evening tonight, and I'm kind of really looking forward to that. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I will have links down below in the show notes. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe so you know when I put something new up. I almost certainly will not have a podcast next week. I should have said that at the top of the episode. But again, I'm headed out of town for the Odyssey of the Mind tournament. So Monday, I'm sure I'm going to be very busy after school, packing and prepping, and I don't want to put the pressure of trying to record a podcast on myself. So I am almost certainly not going to record next week. So it'll be 2 weeks before I see you again, and I will hopefully have lots and lots of yarny updates for you at that point in time. Matter of fact, I believe at that point Nope, it won't have quite been the fiber frolic because that'll be the following weekend. I'll get a podcast in before then, but at any rate, that is where I'm at. I hope you have a wonderful couple of weeks and happy knitting.